What is going on, everybody? So today we have a beautiful Nidoqueen out of my personal collection from a Fossil Unlimited pack. We are going to be performing a light detailing on the card. Once again, we're going to be performing a light detailing on the card. We are not going to be altering. We are not going to be doing any type of major repairs on the card. We are going to be doing simply a detailing. There's some Pokemold on the back that we're going to take care of. There's a little bit on the front. Obviously, there's whitening on the back of the card and the edges that we're not going to worry about. There's a slight dent crease on the top that I'm not too worried about. Also, you could see it very lightly there at the top towards the center. But the main issue that I have with the card is I want to try and get the card cleaned up as much as possible. And I want to go ahead and try to remove as much micro scratches out of the hollow. Now, I'm pretty successful at the end of this clip. You will see that we were able to remove quite a bit of the scratches. We were able to get the card very clean. Obviously, there's nothing to do, that you could do about the whitening on the back, but I'm not going to be sending this card in for grading or anything like that. Not because I don't think it's going to get a high score. Obviously, it won't get a high score, but sometimes it's just nice to have stuff in your collection and stuff in a binder that you could flip through, and especially when they're cards that you pull from your childhood or adulthood or whenever. Everybody loves pulling Pokemon cards. So especially when you pull a nice holo or something that you've been chasing after. So everybody take care of your cards before it's too late. So here we're going to lightly dab a cotton pad on some Kurt's card repair card spray. I love Kurt's products. Kurt is an amazing guy. He's an amazing mentor. All of his videos are absolutely great. And I suggest everybody use his product. Everybody use his channel and information that he gives. Everything is top tier, and he's a huge inspiration that everyone should look up to in the card restoration game. So right here, I'm being very, very light. Obviously, listen, you don't have to wear the little fingertip gloves or gloves in that matter if you don't want to. I simply do it just because I like to stay as clean as possible and not get any of my finger oil on the cards. Um, but that's just me. So keep it very light while doing this cleaning. Let the cotton and let the card spray do its work. And the cotton pad is not going to get everything off. I'll say that now. It does a good job at prepping the surface, at getting a little bit of dampness into the mold or debris that is on the card. Mind you, this card has sat in a sleeve for must be 20 years at least. So right here, what I'm going to do is I did, like I said before, I did 2 sprays on a pad, and I like to just work off of that as if I was painting. So right here, I just used one of Kurt's wonderful long cotton swabs that come in his accessory kit. And I don't know if you've seen what I did there. One was wet. I got a little bit of moisture on the spots that I wanted to take care of, and I'm simply using that as an applicator and then re-going back over the spots with a dry one, which was absolutely amazing and very successful in removing the small spots of debris on the Pokeball and on the areas that I needed to have cleaned. With Kurt's card restore. And basically what I do here is I put a little bit on the card spray cap just to keep it up in the air and be able to work over the card and not have to worry about my hands getting into anything that they shouldn't be and then rubbing anything on the card or my clothing or anything like that. So just try to be as clean as possible. So I'm taking some of that restore, putting it on the applicator, I don't know if you're not familiar with these applicators, they are a very, very light foam on there. So let's just call this a foam applicator. I'm taking a very little bit amount of the Restore, and we're simply going to treat this like a car detail. We're going to do small, very light circles or circular motions. And now you can't hear it right now, but there's a slight squeak coming from the card. So what that's telling me is that I have just enough pressure, and the Restore and the foam are doing a good job at buffing out the hollow and the very, very thin, I guess it's somewhat of a plastic covering on the card before they lay the hollow down. So we're going to just do small, tight circles, and I like to get on there a couple of times with one application. I know some guys like to do one application and then wipe and then reapply, but I like to just do a couple of rounds on the card, wipe, and then I like to see where I'm at and if I need to continue to go a little further in. But like I said, there's a couple of scratches on here that obviously I know I'm not going to be able to get out. So right here, I just do some vertical lines and some horizontal lines just to make sure I got everything. And I like to break up the product on top of the card a little bit before I wipe it off. It does start to get a little tacky, not really tacky, maybe a little sticky, not sticky either. But you'll feel it. It's like when you put any type of wax on a car or anything like that. It just starts to tighten up a little bit, and you want to get that off within a reasonable time and try to get off as much as possible. You should be able to see a little bit of hazing on the card or some streaking if you left some product on top of the card. So right here, you can see that there's still a little bit of scratching. We're going to do one more application with the card Restore. Once again, we are just going to try and knock down as much as we can without damaging the hollow or the stickering that is on the card. It is possible to do that. So we're going to keep this a little more concentrated right now on the spots that I was able to see some micro scratches and light scratching still on top of the hollow. Now we're just going to give it a little wipe and remove the rest of that polish. And nice. A little hard to see on your end, but in person, this was looking amazing. A lot of those micro scratches came out. You could see the hollow was popping out right there. Now we're going to go in with the actual card polish. This is what's going to bring it home and bring it all together. Now, I do want to mention for anybody that's trying to do this and then send these cards in, this polish here does have a scent to it. So I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard graders are starting to try and smell the cards and make sure that there's no cleaning products or cleaning agents or waxing on there or anything like that. So just keep in mind, you don't want to leave this stuff on the card long. I'm going to apply it the same way that I apply the card restore. You could see it's leaving streaking on the card there. Just want to get this on there, and I just want to do this as a finishing touch. Basically, what we're going to do here is just put down think of this as a protective coating and a shine agent. So this is going to shine up the hollow, bring a little bit of life to the hollow. Okay, imagine this is like when you get out the shower, you're nice and clean, and you throw a little bit of that lotion on, and it just absorbs in to the skin, and you get nice and soft. We took that a little too far. We're going to leave the lotion comments out from now on. So we're just going to continue on with the card here, and none of that nonsense talk about lotion. So we're going to give this card a final wipe down here, and just make sure we get all of this polish off the card and go over the card one last time and just make sure that it's up to par for what we're looking for here. Guys, this isn't some magical process. Don't think you're going to get cards that are damaged or in very bad condition and make them look brand new. There's just damage that gets done that's irreversible, non-repairable, and not easy to hide. So don't, by all means, you're going to find great deals out there on cards that you want for your personal collection and or to send out for grading or, whatever. You might want to turn around and try to make a profit. That's what Pokemon is nowadays. It is what it is. I know people want to cry about it, but this is an avenue to make some money. And if it helps you make money to put that into your personal collection or better your future, then by all means, do whatever makes you happy in life and apply yourself to everything. So we're just going over the back of the card. I didn't want to polish the back or anything like that. I was pretty happy with the surface of the back of the card other than the whitening. But like I said before, we already know we cannot do anything about that. And everything else looked really good with the card, and I was super happy with the results. Thank you.